Welcome back. Now let's look at the next sequence, which you were going to bring up about the still talking about the same unemployment rate.
Yeah, let's quickly look at the performance of key presidents in this last 3 decades. And what you find, or what I found out especially, was shocking. The evidence clearly shows that we've been battling unemployment in the last 3 decades. Unemployment was 3.9% when President Muhammad Buhari came in the first time. When he left,
1983.
When he left, it was 6.1%. When President Obasanjo came in, it was 8.2%. In its beginning of the second term, it had gone to 14.8%. When President Jonathan took over from President Yar'Adua, it was 21.4%. When President Buhari took over from President Jonathan, it had gone to 26.5%. So in the last 3 decades, we haven't been able to solve unemployment. And when I found this out, I did not know whether to laugh or to cry. Because it clearly shows that in the last 3 decades, our economic policies have failed. And let's look at how the president has even performed in all his days in office. And here's what the National Bureau of Statistics reveal. That ever since the second quarter, unemployment has been rising steadily. Ever since the second quarter of last year. So Q2 2015, when President Muhammadu Buhari came in, it was 26.5%. Has it declined ever since? The answer is no. The NBS says each quarter unemployment is getting worse. The last report that they released clearly showed that in the first quarter of this year, we only created 79,464 jobs, Sulaiman. Here's what it means. It means it is easier for you to find a seat in the Manchester United Stadium than to get a job in Nigeria.
There must be a regular ticket holder to get a seat there.
Because you have more seats in Manchester United Stadium.
Magba is not that much of a football fan, but I'm sure she'll get a question. Magba?
Well, you know, it's difficult to, some things stand out immediately because we're talking about trust, we're talking about proactivity, we're talking about planning. These are the things that immediately stand out, because when you look at that, could it be that government wasn't creating as much jobs as it should in relation to the population explosion? Could that be what we're seeing playing out?
The challenge is population. Marco is right. Government wasn't creating as much jobs as population was growing. So we are growing at over 2.5% per annum. But the challenge is we had all the time to be proactive, because when population grows, it's not the adult size that is growing, it's the children's size that is growing. So clearly population had a role to play, but the major challenge was policies that failed. Policies had failed, and policies had failed in the last 3 decades. Earlier this week, I was at the supermarket and I was buying some household items, and the lady that attended to me had noticed that even my purchases had declined. So I jokingly asked her that what were people buying. So she said, Mr. Jide, we are still selling breads, we are still selling eggs, we are selling noodles, we are selling Coke. But she said something interesting she had found out was that people were buying a lot of cards.
What kind of cards?
And I brought some, this kind of cards. So here's how it is. So I also bought a pack of cards, and it made me think of, why were people buying cards?
So while they wait time or what?
And so I picked up the reports of the NBS, and I realized that what they said were there were 5.7 million Nigerians in the labor force that wake up every day and they do nothing.
Wow.
So the challenge is we have a lot of people that have nothing to do. Now, make no mistakes, I don't mind if people play cards. But after even buying the cards, I realized most of the cards are being imported. So here's what it means. It means that the jobless people in Nigeria are keeping other people in other countries employed.
Well, we'll anchor at that point. Babajide Ogunso, Channel Service Data and Information Analyst. Well, there you go. That's the show today. We thank you all for watching, and we'll always be back next week. Chamberlain also.
I'm sure I got some free cards to keep. Can I have them? Okay, see you again
You have
Monday.
some time to while away? That's the implication of that one. You know?
I'm going to make some made in Nigerian cards now.
Okay, the editor's got to hear about that.
Well, I think there's definitely a good note, food for thought, you know, in terms of how we can get, you know, we can get the economy moving again, what it is that we can do rather than while away playing cards. Thank you. I'm Mao Kwe.